I spent years trying to prove myself to friends, to strangers, to family, to the mirror. Yeah, to myself even. I was chasing validation. I was trying to prove to others and to myself that I am a man, that I am worthy. I was just trying to find that worth by chasing validation. But once I stopped doing this, everything in my life has changed and I have changed. For the first time in my life, I actually was able to be happy, but it only happened when I dropped the need to chase for validation. Because in the past, I constantly overanalyzed. Okay, I overanalyzed myself, the way I look, the way I talk, the way I walk, okay, and the way I behave. And then I would always think, is this how I actually want to be? Am I representing that person that I truly want to be? Am I the man that I'm trying to prove to be? And I was also always worried about how I came across to other people. Okay, what do they think about me? How do they see me? Do they see me as a man? Do they see me as someone who is masculine? And I was trying to chase this all the time, trying to chase that kind of validation from others. I didn't even realize that that was actually not giving me the result I wanted, because I was trying to earn masculinity through appearance, gym results, or even passing. I wanted to pass so bad, and I know a lot of us trans guys out there feel like this, okay? Obviously, we want to pass. Obviously, we want to be seen as man by society. But this is something that you don't need to earn. It's something that you embody. And it doesn't mean that you have to constantly chase the validation and the approval from other people. Because I needed that approval and that validation from others. So they basically affirmed to me that I'm a man, that I'm masculine, and only then I would feel okay. Only then I would be happy. And that's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that this is how I used to think. Like I would need others to affirm back to me what basically I wanted to hear so I can feel okay. So I can feel kind of good about myself. But at the end I didn't feel good about myself. I only started feeling good about myself once I stopped chasing for validation. And once I started to let go of needing that approval from others. Because this whole thing, okay, of constantly chasing the validation, needing others to affirm back to me what I wanted to hear about me, that I'm masculine, that I pass so well, that whatever, okay, it literally felt like I was performing 24/7. I wasn't being me anymore. I wasn't being my authentic self. I just wanted to be seen as enough, and for that, I had to perform. I had to act like someone I wasn't. And hey, the truth is, it was never enough. It was never enough. And it's never going to be enough. As long as you are still chasing that approval and that validation from others, you will always crave the next. Okay? It's kind of like a drug. So they give it to you, and then you get a dopamine hit, and then you want more of it. So you're basically addicted to it. You're addicted to receiving that constant validation and that constant approval from others. This is exactly why it's never going to be enough, and you are never going to be satisfied with all those compliments and that validation and all of that. You are just not going to be satisfied because it makes you depend on others for your worth. And that is unstable as hell. It's not the way to happiness, to your own happiness. This is how you're going to slowly destroy yourself if you constantly just depend on others for your own worth. Because this way you are starting to shape yourself for them instead of you. And it's exactly something I did in the past, okay? I'm guilty of this. I've done this for so long until I finally understood this. So, like I said, I wasn't being me anymore. It wasn't me. And this is why I lost myself over and over and over again, because I was constantly just shaping myself for others instead of really thinking, okay, what do I want? who do I want to be? Who am I? I forgot about all of these important things, and I just started thinking about, okay, how do they want me to be? How do they want me to look like? How do they want me to behave? How do they want me to walk, to talk? And I just did just everything just to receive that approval and that validation from others. So I was constantly reshaping myself to how I thought people wanted to see me. So I started asking myself, where I came to a point where I literally didn't know who I was anymore. Okay. I was like, okay, what the fuck am I doing? Who am I? I was literally at such an identity crisis because I got used to performing to being someone that I wasn't just for others, that I completely lost myself. I completely forgot who I was. And that's when I started asking myself, okay, who am I when I don't perform? Who am I without the performance? Who's Jay? And I started to think back, okay, before I started to kind of, yeah, reshape myself, the person that I used to be. I used to have so much more fun. I was funny as hell. I just got way too serious when trying to, yeah, be liked by other people and trying to get that validation and to get that approval from them. I became way too serious. Also, I was watching what I was saying. I was scared to say the wrong things instead of simply just saying whatever was on my mind and being completely, even brutally honest with people. I wasn't doing any of that anymore. And then I knew I needed to kind of like, you know, don't give a shit about people anymore. Not really in a bad way, but just not giving a shit about what they think or say about me and just simply allow myself to be me. Unapologetically just being me. So I simply focused on what felt real and not what looked right. You know, I forgot completely about the right way to behave, the right way to say things, the right way to look, whatever. I simply just stopped giving a fuck about these things. And I'm telling you, once I made that simple switch, okay, it was just like flipping a switch inside of my brain, okay? Like caring about what others say about me and then don't giving a shit. I literally just, flicked that switch and suddenly my life started to change. I started to change. Okay, I was having way more fun and weirdly enough, people started to like me even more as well. I kind of became magnetic too. Okay, I'm a big believer in energy and we are all made out of energy. And I felt like I became magnetic to people because people suddenly just wanted to talk to me, wanted to hang out with me, and I did not had that happen before because I was trying too much, because I was constantly chasing and chasing and chasing. And when you chase after something, it just gets further and further away from you because it runs away from you. So once I stopped chasing, okay, and I just stayed grounded in who I am, who I truly am, okay, and being unapologetically simply me, that's when I became a magnet. I became a people magnet. It's crazy. Also, my confidence started to increase, and just everything in my life seemed to have a better flow. I didn't perceive problems as problems anymore. I wasn't constantly comparing myself to others anymore. I was just simply putting that focus back on me. And I'm telling you, this is amazing. It's such a great feeling when you simply just being yourself and you find that authenticity inside of you again, being your authentic self without pretending, without performing 24/7, without the constant chasing, and just simply knowing your worth without needing the approval from others. That's also when I found real connections. I found my people. I always struggled with like having like really deep and close friendships. I always kind of attracted the wrong people into my life. But once I, stopped chasing that validation and I just simply started seeing my worth and being me, that's when I attracted the right ones into my life. People that I can actually call my friends, people that I can actually call my people, where I do know I can trust them, they're here for me. They respect me. They see my worth without me needing to basically ask for it or chase for it, you know? It's like once I started just simply being myself, the real connection started to come. And there were just so many more benefits. I just feel like I became an overall better person throughout this journey. Like once I started to let go of needing validation from others. Look, you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You also don't need to be perfect. The only thing that you need is to simply come back home to yourself. You just need to find the way back home. Because probably throughout your journey, just like I did, I took like a lot of directions that weren't basically bringing me back home. But once I decided to simply just, turn back and go back home, everything changed. Alright, guys, I hope this helps. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.